Hello, 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 and welcome back to Adults After Dark. Thank you all for tuning in this evening. Thank you to all of you who have been consistently listening to the episodes each and every week. Um, Also, I want to say I hope that everyone has had a very, very nice holiday. I hope you enjoyed the time with your friends and family and your vacations and, all of those things that we tend to do around the holiday. Y'all, this is 2023. Wow, that is crazy. 2023. So, this is the first episode of the new year. This is episode 11. Guys, Adults After Dark airs every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. All of the episodes, the previous episodes, are still up on our YouTube channel, which is Adults After Dark. Go ahead and listen to those episodes. Still, you can leave your comments, share it, like it. Maybe it can help somebody. You never know. So, we are on episode number 11. Like I said, this is the first episode of the new year. And today's topic is the difference between having sex and making love. The difference between having sex and making love. So you guys think about that. You can actually start leaving your comments down below as you're thinking about it. And while you're doing that, we are going to recap on episode 10, which was Can You Be a Caregiver for a Loved One? Now, as I mentioned in episode 10, I was a caregiver for my mother. My mother was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and she lived with it for approximately 12 years. She actually went through all the stages of Alzheimer's. If you look it up, they'll give you the different stages of Alzheimer's there is, and she literally went through each one of them. I did leave my mother. I moved her in with me the day that she got diagnosed, and I took care of her until the day she passed away. So, as you know, I've stated several times before that I work in healthcare. I've been in healthcare for almost 24 years. Let me see. This is 2023. I've been in healthcare almost 25 years. I used to work in a nursing facility, and I had to leave there because I didn't like that the way that the residents were being treated. So I decided that one day, if my mother ever became ill and she needed assistance with her activities of daily living, I would not put her in a facility. And that time did come. So I, like I said, took care of her from the day that she was diagnosed till the day that she passed away. Also, I mentioned that my spouse is kind of sickly now. He's stable now, but he is sickly, and I'm taking care of him, but not as like I was taking care of my mother. He's still able to get up and do things and move around and go outside and things like that. It's just that sometimes he gets down and out, and I'm here to, pick up the slack. And his illness may get worse, and of course I am here to do whatever I gotta do to make him okay with his activities of daily living. Okay, so let's you guys also, if you still want to comment on that episode or any previous episode, please go ahead and do so. And we will read those comments, if any, on the next episode. So we're going to get back to today's episode. Again, this is episode number 11, the first episode of 2023. And it is, what is the difference between having sex and making love? So what I'm going to do, we're going to start off this with reading from Relish magazine. And this is an expert, a sex expert. There is no name, I don't think. Let me look a little further. I do not see who the expert is. I don't see a name here. I don't see a name here. So, but anyway, this is from Relish magazine, and the title says, ask an expert. What is the difference between making love and having sex? Now it reads, we often hear the terms making love and having sex used interchangeably, but it is important to know that there is a difference between the two. While both are related to sex, there's a different level of emotional connection and intimacy associated with each. Even thinking about these phrases are used hints at their differences. When you have sex with someone. When you make love to someone. Making love is often much more about your partners and your connection with them than having sex is. Here is an expert opinion on similarities and differences between having sex and making love, and the role that both can play in a relationship. The first one is, what does it mean to have sex? Having sex is about a physical connection to another person. It is possible to have sex with someone without having an emotional attachment to them, because having sex is about a biological need. Think about it. As a species, humans have to have sex in order to reproduce. So we are biologically hardwired to want to have sex. From a biology standpoint, there does not need to be anything aside from the physical desire for another person in order to have sex. And while it is hard for a lot of people to detach their emotions from sex, it is entirely possible to do so. This is not to say that all sex is devoid of an emotional connection. It is possible to have meaningful sex with someone even if you're not making love. Another distinction between having sex and making love is your role as an individual. Having sex is often about fulfilling your individual needs, like we said, with biological hardwiring, and much less about pleasure of your partner or meeting their needs. While having sex with another person can be about their needs and should be, that is not a prerequisite. What does it mean to make love? Unlike having sex with another person, making love is about more than just physical connection. Making love is about an emotionally intimate connection to another person. You cannot make love to a stranger whereas you can have sex with a stranger because you are not emotionally in tune with a stranger. When you are completely in tune with another person because of your emotional connection to them, having sex can turn into making love because you are more attuned to their needs, and your sexual experience is about coming together physically and emotionally. Making love is more intimate than just having sex and may be more drawn out. It may be a more drawn out process with intimate foreplay. Touching, eye contact, um, making love involves a kind of tenderness, even if even if your love making is on the rough side that is missing from regular sex. When you are making love to someone, you consider their needs in addition to your own, which is what makes the sex that much more meaningful and intimate. It requires listening to a partner, knowing or asking if you need to, what they like, and making, which is what makes sex so much more meaningful and intimate. It requires listening to a partner, knowing or asking if you need to, what they like, and making it happen for them. How important is having a connection when it comes to each other? Everyone has a unique relationship to sex that dictates how comfortable they are having sex with strangers. People they are newly dating, waiting until marriage, etc. These relationships with sex are dictated by the type of connection people need to have with a person before having sex. To have sex with another person, in all you need in a physical connection to them in order to make love to another person. You need to have a physical and emotional connection. People always ask if you need to be in love with someone in order to make love to someone. The answer is not necessarily. While you might assume that you have to love someone to make love to them, it is not necessarily the case. It is possible to have a strong emotional and physical connection to another person without being in love with them. This comes back to the idea of each individual's unique relationship to sex, love, and emotional connections. If you are in love with someone, it is easy and common to make love to them. But for some people, it is totally possible to make love to someone without being in love with them. Is there a different level of intimacy between the two? Having sex with someone is about a physical connection and intimacy with another person. Nothing is more physically intimate than having sex with a person. So there is definitely intimacy associated with having sex. But having sex does not require an emotional intimacy in the same way that making love does. Making love requires partners to be completely in tune with one another, which requires openness, honesty, and trust that comes with an intimate emotional relationship. So, in short, yes, making love requires a different level of intimacy than having sex because partners must be emotionally intimate in addition to being physically intimate. The next column says, are both beneficial in a relationship? Even if you are in a committed relationship with another person, you probably won't make love every single time that you have sex. As we mentioned above, making love is often is a drawn out process that can require an intimate setting, special occasion, or just more time than typical sex. While many think that making love is better than regular sex because of the emotional connection, there's a place for having sex in every relationship, whether it is a quickie, needing to have your biological needs met, or pursuing sex in a polyamorous way with the consent of your partner. having sex is beneficial in your relationship. Making love is also beneficial in your relationship because it can help foster more emotional intimacy, and it can bring couples closer together. In the beginning of a relationship, having sex with a partner is often just that, having sex. So when you experience making love for the first time, it can often act as a milestone in your relationship, demonstrating a new level of connection and emotional intimacy. Okay, guys, so that was an article in Relish magazine, and here is another article from Diffin. Um, this is also an article on having sex versus making love. It says, so have sex is a phrase that describes physical connections that leads to sexual pleasure, release, and gratification. Making love is all of this, but also emphasizes the deep emotional connection, affection, and shared bond that develops between caring lovers. While making love is also to do with the state of mind, having sex is more about a physical relationship. So I'm going to read to you a comparison chart. Comparison chart, it says have sex is a phrase that describes physical connection that leads to sexual pleasure, release, and gratification. Making love is about all of this, but also emphasizes the deep emotional connection, affection, and shared bond that develops between caring lovers. Partner with beloved or anyone else. Make love is with beloved as a partner. The emotional side of having sex, emotions not necessarily involved if you are in an uncommitted relationship. Make love, the emotion is you're emotionally involved, often more pleasurable due to the fact that you are pleasing that person that you love. The act of a sexual relationship is just having sex. And the making love, the act is sexual and emotional act. The relationship in both, the having sex relationship, mostly short-term one-night stands, sometimes in a marriage or long committed relationship. Making love, the relationship is long-term. It also says having sex is general sexual intercourse between a couple. This is irrespective of the fact that they share love or any bond between them, while making love reflects a feeling of affection associated with sexual intercourse. Making love is also implies being intimate with your partner, not only physically but also mentally, while having sex is just an urge for intercourse. One may have sex with any person, needn't be their partner, spouse, beloved one, or etc. It can also mean casual sex with anyone, while making love is generally referred to intercourse with a partner, spouse, or beloved. In simple words, with one you care for emotionally or are attached to. The emotional side is having sex doesn't extend beyond sexual intercourse, and more often than not, there isn't any emotion between the couple. On the hand, emotional attachment, including infatuation in the beginning of a relationship, is there when making love. It is sharing all of the intimacy. Some people also suggest that making love is an expression of love through having sex. Isn't because love might not be involved. Now the urge is having sex may just satisfy one's sexual urge, while making love may please a person physically, emotionally, sexually and mental urges. It can be said that having sex is merely restricted to a physical act, while making love goes to include other urges also. Now, the action in making love and having sex is, a few people might believe that having sex is when sexual intercourse is fast and quick, while making love is when they're having slow, tender sexual intercourse. Okay, guys, so that one is from Diffin magazine. So, in my opinion, there is a big difference. I feel like when you're having sex, you can have sex with anybody. You can call up a friend and say, "Hey, come get the EBGBs off." You know what I'm saying? Yo, I'm sorry, motorcyclist. I'm just going past the house. But you can call up anybody and have sex with anybody. It can be a one night stand, like I said, it can be a friend. Hell, it can be friends with benefits, as we talked about in a previous episode. I think that's just sex. You don't have to be, excuse me, emotionally attached. You don't have to love that person or any of that. Now, you may get those people having sex. You may get someone that is slow with it, or as they described as making love as being tender and stuff like that. You can find a person that does that with just having sex. That just may be their vibe. You know what I'm saying? That just may be the way that they try to please the other person. Now, it doesn't always have to be that tender, emotional, seductive, long time with just love making. Okay, it don't have to be that. You may, like I say, just find that person that's just what they do. You know what I'm saying? So that they know how to please another person. It can be that way, I think, as well. So I found another article, and this one is from Embry Women's Health. And let me see how long this is. It's not that long. This one is, let's see what this one says. The difference between making love and having sex. Oftentimes, a lot of people, regardless of whether they are a man or a woman, cannot distinguish between the two rather different acts. That is, love making and having sex. As seen on Thought Catalog, sex is an instinctive and biomechanical act, and everyone can do it. On the other hand, making love is considered to be sensual, slow, and not a goal-oriented act that gives us the opportunity to experience the metaphysical being of one sense. And is considered to be an art in itself. Hence, a fulfilling sex life and a successful romantic relationship should contain a little of both. Like I said, I don't think that just having sex is always just a quickie or anything. Like I say, some people, that's just their way of pleasing the other person. That just may be them. They might not always just be about a quickie, and they do the sensual romantic stuff, and that's just them. That's just them. I don't know how to put it no other way. That's just what they do and how they do it. Okay, they may not be in love with that person. They may not have any connection, emotional connection with that person or any of that. That's just in their nature. That's just their vibe. That's what they do. Okay. This being said, today's article will be focused on showcasing the major characteristics of both acts with the purpose to increase the awareness among readers and help them lead a more successful sexual life, which will consequently help them to better their sexual health. As explained by the WHO, and the WHO is World Health Organization. Sexual health is a state of mental, physical, and social well-being in relation to one's sexuality, and it requires a positive and respectful outlook to sexuality and sexual relationship, and the ability to enjoy sexual experience without coercion, violence, or discrimination. Making love versus having sex, as seen on Teen Health Source. Sex or sexual intercourse means different things to different individuals. But one thing is for sure, this is a healthy and natural activity enjoyed by most people who find it meaningful in their own unique way. As noted by Isadora Allman, from Psychology Today, one may decide to engage in this act for a different purpose. For example, lust, intimacy, boredom, relief, to exert power, to fulfill expectations, baby making, to express love, take comfort. She further goes on to explain that it is best this act is considered to be one of sharing and intimacy, because there is not a more intimate act than letting another one inside a private body part with the goal to share pleasure. Although the term having sex and making love are used interchangeably by many, and though making love often includes sexual intercourse, they do not necessarily indicate the same activity. When the two individuals make love, their vulnerability levels are pretty high. This is often a result of sharing emotions and words that they may not have done before, as seen on your tango. What? When two individuals make love, their vulnerability levels are pretty high. This is often a result of sharing emotions and words that they may not have done before, as seen on your tango. What does that mean, as seen on your tango? I really thought I read that wrong. Okay, both persons tend to let their guard down and risk and reward come into play. During lovemaking, one experiences unique closeness with their partner and find it difficult to imagine other moments happening without them. On the other hand, when you are having sex with someone, although the vulnerability still plays a role, it is a different kind. Namely, one may be afraid of the sexual intercourse not being good or losing the needed chemistry. Also, one may question if his or her sexual needs will be received well or not, as explained on Your Tango. Okay, so I'm assuming that Your Tango is an article or a magazine or something. But I've never heard of that. I'm going to have to look that up. Okay, people who are aware of this distinction also know making love involves both sides being entirely themselves, genuine and raw, like they are on the daily. Regardless if this involves the occasional missionary pose or some different adventurous exploration, the mutual love and understanding is what allows partners to completely relax and make love without feeling the pressure or restraint regarding their sexual needs or wants. Having sex does not always include genuine feelings and emotions, and people may allow themselves not to be the person that they are on a daily, as noted on Your Tango. Yeah, I think that's a magazine or something like that. I'm definitely going to have to look that up and see what that is. Okay, it also says one may try out all kinds of sexual desires and expose a different side of themselves that they may never actually show publicly. You may also be expressing some hidden personality traits through the act of having sex. When love is not in the picture, but merely getting sexual pleasure, saying goodbye is never a problem. And one may be able to move on without necessarily looking for a commitment from the other side involved. However, this is not always the case when you're making love with a person with whom you have founded a connection. Love making puts more at stake than getting and giving sexual pleasure, like feelings, emotions, and deepest thoughts that are shared during this act. This is why saying goodbye is always something easily done and both partners feel more committed to each other. Making love, having sex, ecstatic adventures of a lifetime, more of a physical thrill. Okay, so they're saying making love, ecstatic adventure of a lifetime, having sex is more of a physical thrill. Making love, complex expression of love, having sex, a physical activity. Making love, help communicate your love non-verbally, focus on stimulation. Having sex, focus on stimulation. Making love helps one show good feelings and thoughts of about their loved ones. Having sex can be enjoyed without love. Making love requires sharing more than your body. So that is the distinction of the two acts. The two acts. Okay. The former is centered on stimulation and response from the nervous system. This type of sex is usually expressed solely by a physical experience, and it is measured by how intense and how strong the stimulation is. On the other hand, the depths of sex encourage both participants to use their bodies, souls, minds to reach one another's heart. What's more, lovemaking gives the partner space to discover hidden issues that may occur during the uniquely intimate experience and to surpass the physical body limitations and connect with each other. During this act, the focus is not solely on the physical body, and it requires dedication to be able to truly win the partner's mind, soul, and heart. Okay, so their final thoughts on the difference between making love and having sex. As seen from aforementioned points, having sex and making love are two distinct acts, and the former is more associated with getting a quality physical pleasure through proper stimulation, whereas making love requires getting both sexual pleasure and love. One could enjoy a pleasurable sexual intercourse without having to be necessarily in love with one another, with the other individual, and they may easily part ways afterwards. But this is not the case with lovemaking, which often requires exploration of different aspects, like one's mind and soul, deepest feelings and thoughts, not just each other's body, and it is there. And it therefore creates an additional level of closeness and intimacy. The passion tends to grow between the partners and simultaneously with their love. When it comes to having sex, the intimacy has to do with merging your physical needs and body parts with the other partners, whereas lovemaking is more about connecting your mind and souls through the act of sexual intercourse. So this article was in Embry Women's Health. So those were the differences between making love and having sex. But like I said, some of this I agree with, some of it I don't. For the simple fact that, like I said, you have some people that they put their all into it when they actually have sex, and it's not necessarily making love. Okay, so you guys give me your thoughts on it, and let me know down in the comments, what do you think the difference between making love and having sex? Do you agree with the 3 articles that we read out today? So we're going to end episode 11 right here. Hope you guys have a good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whenever it is that you're listening to this. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to share. Like I say, it may help other people. And again, this is Adults After Dark. It is an audio conversation for adults 18 and over. Please do not listen to this in front of minors, as some of the language may not be suitable for minors. So if you have to put the kids to bed, or listen to this in another room, or put on your AirPods or earbuds, go ahead and do so. Again, you guys have a nice evening. Happy New Year to you once again, and we will talk to you all next week. Bye.